Well, a very good evening. I've got David one more round all the way from Pembrokeshire and Wales. David, great to have you with us, man. You are fighting Idas Sikauskas in kickboxing this Saturday night at Supreme Championships. Give us your views, sir.
It's going to be a standard David one more round fight. I'm going to go in and I'm going to throw bombs, and it's going to be who's going to get knocked out first.
Has that always been the strategy?
Always has, as I was always taught my parents, hit first, ask questions later. So the harder I hit him, the more chance he'll fall down, and the harder he'll hit me, the more chance I'll fall down. And I'll put a show on for the crowd, and win or lose, I think the crowd will be happy in this. And my whole career has always been about entertaining the crowd.
How did you get into martial arts? Because I know you played rugby, and we were talking a little bit ago about your daily life and getting out fishing and stuff like that. Yeah. But why martial arts? What was the draw?
I've always loved fighting. Always loved the thing of fighting. And where you can have two people that for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is can fight each other, and then afterwards can be absolutely, and that's it. Whereas we look at football, where you play a game of football and there's always that beef afterwards. But I've never known that with the fighting that I've done, and that's why I got into it.
You fought bare knuckle, kickboxing, boxing, MMA. Best part of 100 fights. Yeah. What's your favorite?
Anything fighting.
Anything.
Yeah. If I could go to one, K1. Because I love throwing leg kicks, I love throwing the car, I love throwing my hands, knowing that I can't get taken down like with MMA. But if I had to choose, it would probably be the K1, because I can follow up with the leg kicks.
And over the years, was that something that now you've at your more veteran status have said, that's it for me, or was that always the case in the beginning?
No. It was. I said I in the last 14 years, the first 8 or 9 years was strictly MMA, and then I went to K1 when I was up with James Wallace. He put me in the K1, then he put me into the kickboxing, and then it's only been the last 2 years that bare knuckle has come around. But I'll jump in it if a fight's offered, and whatever discipline it is, I'll jump in it. That's how it's always been. That's how you are a fighter, isn't it? You take any fight.
And what would you say has changed in the UK martial arts scene over the years, whether you're speaking to MMA or kickboxing or other avenues? You mentioned bare knuckle. How has it developed? What have you seen?
So you're looking at 2008 was my first fight. Got in Bama 2010, and then it was. If back then in the early or late 2000s, MMA or cage fighting wasn't very known about. So if you had a persona or a character, the companies and the promotions could build it. So where I had a red mohawk, I had tattoos everywhere, I looked like what everyone thought a cage fighter was. So I was very very thrown into the big shows and the big things and the poster boy and things like that. Now. After that, it sort of went to a thing of everybody then became a cage fighter, and where people would offer you fights and you could go, oh no, I want this, I want 1,200 quid, I want £1,000. They'd be like, oh no, we get fucking Jimmy Blogs down the road for 400 quid. And that's what I think what changed a lot was the money way. When we first started, the money was good and it was thing, but then when everybody got into it, there was so many fighters available. But when I started, there wasn't many of us available to fight.
Why do you think this sport grew in the way that it has, would you say, in MMA, for example?
Because it was the new thing, wasn't it? It was obviously before. So I started 2008. You've got 15 years before that, and Royce Gracie all started in 93, 94 when UFC won. And it was so kept underground and so thing that nobody went to it. But I tell you what really did kick off was Bama 4, Alex Reed fighting Tom Watson. I fought Harvey Hara on the card, and it became very mainstream in the UK. Now, it was already, I think, mainstream in the US, and they were going through what we were in 2010 to 2012, but a few years before it, where everybody became a cage fighter. After I think the Reed Watson fight, everybody then thought, I can do this. I can do this. I want to do that. I want to thing. And I take my hats off to Bama because they promoted us well. They promoted the shows well. We were on Bravo, which doesn't even exist anymore. And then all of a sudden it was a mainstream telly thing. And then everybody thought, oh, I can get into this. And I think it's brilliant because you've got such a big interest from kids that are 3 or 4 years old up to adults that are 40, 50. My parents are in their 70s. And even now my dad will watch UFC and go, oh, did you see so-and-so fight the other week? And I'm thinking, Joe, you wouldn't have even known about him if it wasn't for the fact that this was brought into mainstream. And yeah, I think it's brilliant what has happened. Although it did take away from the actual fighters that were trying really hard to get to that stage.
What do you think of the young talent coming up? I mean, for me, I think it is so cool to see these kids. I always kind of equate it to like 3 generations. Way back in the day, you kind of had one thing you did. You were a specialist. You were, a sumo going in MMA. You were Art Jimmo with the
one
boxing and one boxing glove. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Generation 2 was like a fighter had like a very, again, big forte, but they probably had something to back it up, like say Chuck Liddell with his wrestling to enable the striking.
Or T's with his
exactly ground and pound with his wrestling. Yeah, exactly, and enough survival skills to work on the feet. Enough, depending on who he fought, right?
And then good to shoot in.
Exactly, to actually execute his game.
Yeah.
And now you see these guys who are seamless everywhere. You see these young kids.
Yeah.
What do you think?
When I started, I was in a kickboxing, a boxing gym. My coach was very much the right. All you need to know is this. That's all you need to know. That's you'll survive for that. And then I started going up with Ollie Ellis, who was one of the first cage rage fighters back in the day, and training a little bit of ground work. But even then, in the first couple of years, I was saying you could sort of rely on one discipline. And then, as I said, after the Alex Reed and Watson fight on Bama, all these MMA gyms started up, and then you didn't have to go to one gym to another to do your disciplines. You could go to one and learn. And I think from probably about 2013, 2014, where you've got all these young guys that are now MMA fighters. They're not just strikers, they're not just wrestlers, I think. And I think that's what's happened in the last few years is the evolution of it has become fucking brilliant. And I think it's an amazing thing with the UK.
We're in a good place. I feel like we're in a really, really good place. Even like in jiu-jitsu. Like I was at a jiu-jitsu tournament like a couple months ago, and like you see people from 10th Planet or Carlson Gracie or all these other newer academies or affiliates, this, that, and the other. And it's remarkable. And they have these are young kids. I talk to kids under 10 talking me through a submission. I talked to kids who were like 13, 14, 15, 16. Bro, I was keen on driving, period. I was keen on getting out of the house, Yeah. And these kids are obsessed with a very nuanced and focused understanding of their game for jiu-jitsu. And that is all they think about. Yeah. And it's like mad. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you've got guys who I was training with, like Wayne Arandelovich and Tim Newman. Like Wayne Arandelovich's son, Tiago, has been brought up into the Newport MMA style. And I think from about 3 or 4 was doing jiu-jitsu comps. I think he's around 10, 11 now, maybe a thing. And he's winning it. I think they've gone through Pedro Bessa with the gradings and stuff. But this guy, like little Tiago, is like 10, 11, and he's an absolute animal. If he can get a striking thing, by the time he's 18, 19, 20, you're going to be looking at really good UK fighters coming through. I think in 10 years, we'll have caught up to what America was in the early 2000s or early 2010s with our young guys coming through.
What does your training look like these days? Because I know we spoke before, and you were saying like, I'd love to be out there, and you're like, yeah, it's cool, and I'd love to get out of London, and you're like, I wish I could get to London sometimes because of the ability to be able to connect with the quality of the training that you want. What's going on now?
Now I just keep myself fit. I've got a little thing in the garage. One of my sponsors, KJM, Cal Morris, he's a welder. He's got a little a welding basically shed where we've got a bag in, and we do our cardio and we do our bag work and stuff like that. And I just keep fit. Right, I'm ready to fight within 2 weeks' notice. I'm ready to fight on 2 days' notice because I'm a fighter. But I'm not doing the camps like I used to. I'm not doing like, right, I've got 8 weeks, I'll do this. No, now I just think, no, I will just, yeah, if someone phones, you want to fight? Yeah, I can fight. I'm ready to go. So,
yeah, we spoke with Andy Manzolo. He was an interesting talent. Again, these guys been around for a while, and he's like technique. I've always got my technique. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt, judo black belt. I've been to enough rodeos that I know what it takes.
Yeah,
I'm not even necessarily concerned about sparring hard. He's like, I just focus on my cardio and my fitness. I'm just making sure that X amount of weeks out, maybe it's 4 weeks out or whatever, I focus on my fitness because that's actually the biggest thing that I can bring to the fight. No point in overtraining and being injured, right?
Well, I'm always fight fit. A lot of guys, they don't drink and think, I'm drinking whiskey now.
Oh, David, let me see that again. Show me that at the camera again. What you got there? Little cough, a little bit of Grandpa's cough medicine. Little communion here.
On Jack Daniels. I'm 6 kilo underweight for this fight. I don't have to cut weight. I don't have to diet. I've given up the thing of dropping weight. Now I just fight at the weight I'm comfortable at. So I'll eat the day of the weigh and I'll eat the day before. I'm more comfortable. I'm not cutting down to 70 kilo anymore. I'm not thinking. I've done heavyweight. I've done light heavyweight. I'm happy between middleweight and light heavyweight. It's fucking brilliant for me.
And what do you and why do you keep doing it? I know why you love martial arts, and it makes sense. Obviously, your journey as someone who's been around the block in the UK and of course even abroad.
Yeah.
But what keeps you in the game, man? Because it's a long old lifetime commitment.
I keep getting asked to fight, and I'm a fighter, so I won't say no.
Could you live without it?
No. If the messages stopped, do you want to fight or are you available, and the phone didn't ring, I'd be happy, yeah. I could say I don't even watch UFC or anything like that anymore. I look at the guys who are like the likes of Jack Shaw and things who are fighting on the UFC and Brett Johns, the guys I know and friends with. I'll watch their fights the day. I won't stay up and watch the whole show, but I will make sure I see it the day after and stuff like that. But no, I don't follow it like that anymore. I'm happy doing what I do. I'm happy, working and living. I've got a family. I'm married. But I'm happy now and again. If someone goes, "Do you want to have a fight?" I'm like, "Yeah, fucking right, I'll have a fight," because I'm a fighter.
What would your advice be to other people who want to pursue a career at a professional level? Because you've seen just about every aspect of many different fights in the competitive professional realm. What would you say to them?
Go for it. I can go for it. I've gone for it, and I've won. I've lost. I've been to LA and trained at the Black House. I've trained with Fabricio Verdum, Glover. I've sparred Lyoto Machida. I've fought on Obama Superior Challenge in Malmo and 10,000 people, and I've also fought in front of 150 people years after that in a place in fucking Kent. So I've gone up and down, yeah. But because I'm a fighter, I will keep doing it. Yeah, go for it. Go for it, because you will be that 1 or 2% of people that wish, you've got 11% of people that wish they did it, and they'll sit in the bar and go, "Oh yeah, I could do that." Oh, look, no, you will be that. Whether you win or lose, you draw or you get fucking idea every week. Go and be that person who fucking goes in and does it.
Would you do anything differently?
No. I go back 14 years and do exactly the same. I'd take fights that I shouldn't have. I'd have losses that I could have won. I'd knock out guys I shouldn't have knocked out. I knocked out Sean Carter, who was ranked 9th in the UK at the time. We'd been knocked him out on 2 days' notice. I took that fight. Yeah. I went the distance with Anthony Rhea 3 years ago today. Anthony Rhea had fought Vitor Belfort and Rich Flank, and that was on a couple of weeks' notice. Yeah, no, I wouldn't change anything.
How do you think people will remember David one more round? Because I got a lot of memories, man. You mentioned that show in Kent. I know that show in Kent. That's
Yeah,
LFC, Leo
and
Alderman show, right?
for the K1 fight.
It was wild. I mean, it was in
Yeah,
like a tent, and Leo's a sweet guy, and that was a
yeah.
fun show. The atmosphere at that show was always off the hook. I mean, they
Yeah.
were crazy fights. I remember that fight. But yeah, how do you think people look back on your career and remember you?
They'll look back at me and thinking, yeah, that guy will fight. People will buy tickets because I'm on a show. They go, oh, fucking hell, Dave Round's on there. We'll stay and watch this one, even though the guys fought 2 fights or 3 fights before. Because a lot of people now will go and watch a
Yeah,
show. The guy will fight,
yeah.
and they shoot off. As you said, at LFC, when I fought main event, there was probably, 50 people left there. And the place before that was full because people will go watch your fighters and then they'll shoot off. But if I'm on a card, a lot of people go, God, I'm going to stay and watch that because I remember seeing him fight 3 or 4 years ago on so-and-so, and guy's fucking mental. So,
What makes a great fighter, in your opinion?
someone who will fight, someone who will entertain the crowd. Yeah, someone
You're a
who,
broken record, David. You keep going out about it, but I love it. Your conviction is admirable.
yeah. You want to go watch a show, you want to go watch 2 people fucking fight, don't you? Whether it's 30 seconds of absolute fucking carnage or it's 50 minutes of fucking carnage, I will put that on. If I don't knock you out in 30 seconds and you don't knock me out, I will carry on until one of us we'll go the distance and it'll be fight the night, fight the year,
Do you think that attitude with there's been an incredible amount of professionalization, and I say this quote unquote professionalization, whether it was the approach in the UFC to uniforms,
Yeah.
whether it was the approach to the way some organizations manage weight cut, like in one or various weight classes or this, that, and the other, to kind of smooth out the sport. And of course, with all of the things that go into that, with people, having incredibly detailed approaches to cutting weight. You mentioned you don't want to cut weight anymore. You want to put it on.
Yeah.
But with all of that, has there been a drift away from that core focus of going out, and making sure people remember you because you went out there to fight, period? Because some fights, we saw one this past weekend in London, the main event, or was it the main event, MVP?
Yeah. Yeah, got absolutely just wrestle fucked.
But it wasn't really a fight. Scott Coker said that wasn't really a fight, in my opinion,
No.
at the end of the day, or something to that effect. Do you think that we've drifted away from the core of what it means to put on a quote-unquote entertaining fight?
I think with stuff like that is, like MVP is an entertainer, and then who he fought was out there to win. And at the end of the day, a fight is you go into a fight to win. Yeah? If you can entertain along the way, it's fucking brilliant. But more importantly, it's about winning. Now, I don't know when before. I can't remember his name.
Logan Storley, it was.
He went there to win that fight, and although it was boring, and probably half the crowd fucking walked off, he still won the fight. So he won. So it's a W on him, it's an L on Venom Page. And but Venom Page was number 1 contender, and so they were both the guys who should have been fighting for the title. So if you look at it that way, stuff like that will happen, where you'll get an entertaining fighter. Look at Khabib and McGregor. Do you know what I mean? All right, Khabib stood with him and beat him, but at the end of the day, Khabib was just going to pull him down and just fucking beat the fuck out of him on the ground. Whether it was the first round or the 4th round or whatever it was, that was going to happen. And I think that's going, if you go back to when we first started, where you just had 2 guys that would have a fight, strikers, you could have a really good fight. UFC used to do, once a month? And everybody knew who the main event was, who the co-main event was, who the other 2 fights, and then pretty much most of the undercard. Because 6 weeks later, they'd all sort of mix around and fight each other again. Now, I know the main event, if that, and I haven't got a clue who the hell is on it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true. And it's a shame, because that's a byproduct of the success of these incredible amount of talented fighters from various pools and corners of the globe. The UFC's gone obviously a very wide approach to visiting different places and so on. And those opportunities are there for these guys to go out there, compete and win and prove why they are among the best. Yet you and I are sitting here and we remember the heyday of
the Chuck
yeah,
Liddells and
yeah,
Chuck Liddell and Vanderlei Silva, greatest fight I've ever seen.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Headlined then by Matt Hughes and George St. Pierre on UFC
yeah,
79. They're probably one of the greatest cards they've ever had.
yeah,
The likes of, you had Andrei Arlovsky fighting Tim Sylvia.
yeah,
Great fucking fighters that would fight. Now, look at Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is possibly going to be the greatest fighter in history now because of his wins thing. But he is so unpromotable. He doesn't trash talk. He's not a flashy knock. All right, yeah, he knocked out Chandler. He hasn't got that. He hasn't got this. He hasn't got the thing, but he has got the press conference mouth. He hasn't got the trash talk stuff. And although he will probably be the greatest fighter that thing in the next 10 years, he won't be remembered for it. And I think that's what where it's become so massive. This fucking the MMA. You've taken away from the characters of it. There's not many characters left in the UFC, is there?
yeah. I mean, and even Charles, like people are quick to remember or quick to forget rather his journey. I mean, he lost some fights, you know.
Yeah, he lost some, and then he's one of the massive front. And mate, like Dustin Poirier is fucking brilliant, and he's got a bit of the talk, and he had that trash thing after McGregor breaking his leg. I think that was brilliant. And he'll sort of be. I think he'll be remembered more than Charles Oliveira will, even though Charles Oliveira will probably go on and win more.
Yep. Yep. Especially for the attachment to the McGregor thing.
He's just fucking send me your location, which I think is brilliant. But there's no characters anymore, is there? There's nobody like myself, or there's no there's no Lee Cahoons anymore. There's no Andy DeVence anymore. there's no more guys like us. I think the likes of me and Andy Vetton, although they've retired, are the last of a dying breed. There's no Chuck Liddells anymore. There's no Tito Ortizes. There's no thing.
Well, there's only one more David round, man.
There's always one more.
There's always one more. Yeah, so there's only one. Yeah, it's true. Man, I love it though. You really bring me back to. I was watching something on YouTube. I can't remember who it was I was checking out, but it was from like one of the UFC 50s.
Yeah.
And you get that music, and you get Goldie going like, back in 2007, Dudley Brown fought this, and this, and then like boom, yeah, and it cuts to the guy. Do you know what I mean? And then they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and knock this guy out. There's nothing he's gonna be able to do to go over me. Yeah. This is not, it's not happening in my house. Not in my house." Yeah, I mean, even
UFC's gone so regimented with the uniforms and their things, and it's like fuck off. Get the guys back with the t-shirts with 400 sponsors on and the fucking shit.
Yeah, Condom
People
Depot, right?
Hats and stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember one of the greatest ones for me was Lesnar and Mir, right? Frank was like, I want to make him bleed. I want to make him feel pain for even thinking about me. And Lesnar's like, I could picture his eyeballs getting real big as I dump him on his head. And he's going to say this guy is legit. It's great.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar after he beat Couture. It was like, I'm going to drink a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me, and the Bud Light is a big thing in the middle of fucking. There's nobody left like us anymore. I think from 2008 to about 14, 15, when they brought the Reebok shit in, there's no more fucking guys left like that because one, with the UFC, if they say something, they'll get fucking fined or they get fucking thinged. And two, they're just not there. There's no more characters.
Some would argue, though, David, a lot of again, we talked about some of the corporate kind of mentality and the approach that they've taken to try to grow the audience has in some ways subdued that, but it's still been effective, right, in growing their market share. So, whether or not you and I sit here agree or disagree, the UFC does seem to be doing pretty well. So too of some other organizations, right?
They are doing amazing. I think Bellator.
KSW.
I think Bellator is better than UFC because because of how they put the shows on. You go to watch a fight, you go to watch it. It's a show, and there's with UFC, with Bellator, you've got your sponsors on your shorts, you've got your t-shirts, you've got that thing like the UFC used to be, or we all used to be in, the 08 to 2014 era. You've still got that with Bellator. And I think, and UFC is top of the game, and you've got to but give something back to the old school fans, give something back to the old school fans and the fighters that made them where they are.
It's I was saying earlier, like, it's definitely one of the approaches that we've taken in KSW is we did try to use a little bit of the, with only having 8 or 9 fights on a card, you have that celebration of the fighter and the personality a little bit more in the video trailers with the lighting, the walkouts, and you've seen it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Kind of reminiscent of Pride, but also very futuristic too. We did Fame actually this past weekend as well. Fame, they're doing an incredible job. Again, very different. It's for a different market, but they're doing like very cool characterizations of their athletes. And I think that at the end of the day, like you said, this is about entertaining people. It's about showing that you are one of the best fighters or whatever in your style and this, that, and the other. But people have to be entertained.
Yeah, like you want to go out and buy a fucking, remember Chuck Liddell's shorts, the Iceman shorts. You can't buy them.
Oh, bro, I wanted a pair so bad, and they were expensive back in the day. They were like $80.
Yeah, but his actual Iceman ones were things. It's like my Frozen and Peppa Pig shorts don't exist because they were made for me. But with the Reebok thing, you could buy a Chris fucking t-shirt or Chris shorts, 400 of them, I think, because it's so regimented. But yeah, I think with the Reebok thing, it's just taken away of the character of fighters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted those Chuck Liddell shirts so bad, bro. They were tap out, weren't they?
They were tap out ones, Remember, like Charles Mask and Charles Mask from Tap Out and Hightower and
Man, it makes me feel old. It does. But you know what, David? We're taking it back to the old school this weekend, man. Listen, let's get this one. Take this one home.
Yeah.
If people who are watching this need to know very succinctly about why they need to come and see David Round fight either on the pay-per-view or buying a ticket to be there at the O2 in Bournemouth, tell them why.
You've got the gangster Prince of Wales coming in. At one point, the highest knockout percentage in MMA next to Melvin Manhoef at 93.33%. I will send you the picture of it. You can post it on this fucking link. Look, I will knock this guy out on Saturday night.
I love it. And you're fighting Idis Sikauskas.
I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's from. I don't know what his fucking... I don't even know what colour hair he's got.
At least he's got some hair, man. Listen, I'm jealous. I'm excited. David, it's going to be great. Oh, mate, listen. 36 never felt so good. David,
you're only 36?
I'm only 36.
I'm 36 in September.
Is that a compliment or a knock?
Yeah, I thought you were older than me. I thought he's got no hair. He's got no hair, but
David, man, listen, you know what I figured during lockdown? Because all the barber shops closed. I said, why am I holding on?
I don't think I've ever known you to have hair, Chris. I've known you a few years.
Rogan, I think he was honest at one point. He was like, I tapped out. And I was like, yeah, I kind of tapped out too. Yeah. But hey, what can I say? Life is good, right? There's more than this in the morning.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. It's been real, okay? I look forward to seeing you in Bournemouth, yeah?
Are you down there, yeah?
Bro, I'm calling the show. I'm commentating the show.
Fucking hell.
What planet are you on?
I'll even jump on the commentary for you for the first couple of fights if you want.
We might be able to do that. I'll have to see if we can get 3 people on. Then we'll get you on. Yeah. I'd love to do that. And even at the weigh-in, because when are you coming down? Friday?
I'm coming down Friday. I'm gonna like I said, I'm like 6-7 kilo underweight. So I'll send Jordan a video. I'll come down. I think I'll be there from between 2 and 3 o'clock, and then we got a little fucking the bullshit weigh-in in front of everyone. All that.
It ain't a bullshit weigh-in, bro. I'm gonna be hosting that thing.
No, it was fucking gangster weigh-in then.
There we go. It'll be a gangster win. Yeah. Well, it'll be the Gangster's Paradise from Wales here. Actually, let me get that right. It'd be the Gangster Prince of Wales in Paradise in Bournemouth. Amazing. Have a good evening. All right. We'll see you soon.
Chris, thank you very much tonight. I said I'm going to finish my whiskey. I'm going to probably have another one more. I think I'm going to have a cigarette,
All right.
and then I'm going to go to bed.
All right, David, don't hang up, man, because I'm going to end this and we'll finish the
Yeah,
outro.
yeah,
But we'll
yeah.
catch up with you soon. All right.